I was born in the 1960s in Liverpool, near Penny Lane. I did feel as if I was a kind of cuckoo in the nest and not belonging in some respects. I think my father sensed something different, as did others. I was, bullied at school. There were rougher boys who didn't know what gay was. If you're someone that goes through bullying, you want to show those people and exact some revenge.
The doomsday clock stands at 7 minutes to midnight.
Democracy was running through our fingers.
Russians had multiple warheads, which would have obliterated everything.
It was something in the air. There was a paranoia.
Everybody had fire in their belly, and we just needed out.
Britain is a very creative place. And out of that came this bonfire of conflicts.
We're redefining who we are and what's going on.
All this technology gave birth to the world that we live in today.
It was a dynamic time. It was explosive.
Fashion was important, individualism was important, sense of freedom was important.
In the 80s, Britain had this massive significance.
We have ceased to be a nation in retreat.
Summer 1981. The royal wedding is broadcast to an audience of 28 million on all 3 television channels. At the same time, riots all around the country signal the anger of communities who feel excluded from society.
This is the moment so many of us have been waiting for.
Talks with the latest victim of the unprecedented wave of street violence that's sweeping through our great cities.
We want our rights. We want to be able to walk the streets. We want better opportunities. We are frustrated and we are fed up.
Just happens that the person who is, has got a brown skin or a black skin are the people who are treated as the underdogs.
For a generation of young people, the question of how to move from the margins to the mainstream would define the decade.
Born and raised in North London. My family is actually from Antigua in the Caribbean. My parents would have came over during that whole Windrush era. The idea in the Caribbean during those colonial days was the fact that this was the mother country, the provider, the protector, and was going to look after them.
Britain reached out to the Caribbean to help rebuild the mother country. We were just temporary. They knew they were going back. That was the intention, with hopefully a purse full of money and a good education for their children and land to build, and they could retire. What they didn't have a plan for is kids who were born here and what to do with those children who became more and more anglicised. We had to lift England, and it wasn't great.
I'd get stopped every week religiously by the police. As a black person, that was just part of how we lived.
Black and Asian children would have to find a space in a world where their presence is under attack.
Well, I didn't realise I was a thing, or a person of colour, really, until I went to school. And it was quite rough there. And the teachers were incredibly racist as well.
The National Front were quite perky in those days, very lively. I would go to school and then go into town on a Saturday, and there were kids I was in school with handing out National Front leaflets outside Woolworths, you know what I mean? And then I'd have to sit with them in class, and you knew that dickhead behind you was a little racist.
They're rather afraid that this country might be rather swamped by people with a different culture. So if you want good race relations, you've got to allay people's fears on numbers. That's one thing that's driving some people to the National Front. They don't agree with the objectives of the National Front, but they say that at least they're talking about some of the problems.
I think she's perfectly right.
And Daddy? She is talking racialist language, and she is making the National Front more respectable in the eyes of the British people.
The National Front wanted to send you home because they were always telling you they wanted to send you home. And we'd been born in Britain. So if they were going to send you back, they were going to send you back to Bromley, which wasn't very far away from where you actually were. So the idea that you could keep Britain white was sort of absurd and impossible.
Growing up here in London was pretty exciting because you were exposed to so many different things. I was interested in everybody from Inkelbert, Humperdinck, because my parents listened to that, country and western, gospel. I was influenced by it all. And then you had punk. The attitude of what was going on with punk very much was in tune with probably what I was getting up to at the time.
At 18, Jazzy B joins a recording studio as a tape operator, one of the very few black people to work in sound engineering.
We were a part of that shift of young people coming up, not necessarily walking down the same path of their parents. There was a sense of this new community that was developing, possibly through music and fashion as well.
Saturday night is party night.
It's at the Friday and Saturday night blues dances that the sound systems come into their own.
The sound systems came about from blues parties, right? Where we weren't allowed into any clubs, so we used to throw parties in our houses. I wasn't part of the majority culture. I couldn't participate in a lot of the stuff because I wasn't invited to.
Sound systems become a do-it-yourself escape for young people.
Look at it as our voice. It's the voice of our community. The sound system is the moving musical article that tends to feed the community and a platform for us to express ourselves.
Trying to find your way as a black British kid, there was no template.
That's why the music is so powerful.
Meetings in the underground scene lead to creative collaborations.
We just met in the hallway and we started talking like we already knew each other.
It was a bit like, oh, there you are. Like, yeah. I've been waiting for you.
God, you're here.
At last.
Chocolate power and darkness creeping night. Black veiled night.
The unity in those meetings of like going to those safe spaces, it was deep.
That was like a religious experience because there was a coming together.
Blazing, sounding, thumping, fire, blood.
Within those walls, you were in charge, getting empowered to walk out on the street and hold your head up high and
know
go
you
out.
were part of something and part of something strong.
Andy and Nana join a post-punk band, Rip, Rig and Panic, fusing jazz, reggae and funk.
You weren't reaching for industry success. You were reaching for personal freedom. You were reaching to be able to breathe. It was like if we didn't get to do those things, we might have died. It felt like we needed to express this something else that was happening for us emotionally and politically, probably, and personally.
In Liverpool, Holly Johnson is experimenting with bands and becoming a regular on the city's emerging underground scene.
I'd started to go to Eric's club, where all the new wave acts played, from Blondie to The Clash. And a certain time of the night, I would disappear to the Masquerade, which was a gay club. So there were these two worlds that I was straddling, the musical world and the gay disco. So that was very much my cultural outlet.
Across the UK, other groups of outsiders are coming together in clubs, creating their own underground scenes, subcultures, and networks.
For a brief time, there was a kind of window when lower middle-class kids could get out of their background. We were brought up to be clerks, really, like my dad. But the window opened very briefly, and we could run away to London and become artists.
Over the past few weeks, the pop music scene and the fashion scene have been influenced by a new youth cult, the new romantics, or the Blitz kids.
I mean, the people may dress what you'd call up, but for me, it's a statement of their own creativity. It's a statement of their own art.
There was so much crossover with everything that everybody was doing. The way people looked and the way people felt. Life could be whatever shape you wanted to be. That was the thing about the 80s, I suppose, about that time anyway, in London, was that everything was rewriting itself. Everybody had fire in their belly.
Listen to the voice of Buddha.
Among them, a young George O'Dowd. He fuses together his own unique brand of music, fashion, and sexuality.
Georgie!
You're not filmed till I'm ready.
He forms Culture Club, a reflection of the multicultural melting pot of underground music.
Basically, we work together as a band, as a unit. It's not George and Culture Club. And the fashion side of Culture Club has been very important. I think when we started, it's very good to have an image because you grab attention. And that's, one of the most important things. Because, you're in a sort of industry where there's like millions of bands that never, ever get any attention. But also, with me, it's a very personal thing. It's not just, let's be a pop star, let's be a Gary Glitter. Because I take it a lot further than that.
While people are finding community in the clubs and the music, there is not a single black, Asian or openly gay member of parliament. Gay rights campaigner Peter Tatchell steps up for Labour.
I'm Peter Tatchell, the Labour candidate. I live over on the Rockingham estate, and that's why I'm a bit of a rebel.
Right.
So if you live around here and you're working class, you've got to be, don't you?
That's fine.
The response to Tatchell's attempt to become an MP is visceral.
I'm not voting for Tatchell.
Good.
I'd shoot him right up the...
He remains slight favourite, but he's clearly worried, even frightened at the campaign which is being waged against him.
When canvassing on the doorsteps, sometimes I was spat at, punched, and even had dogs set on me. There were 2 attempts to run me down, bottles and bricks thrown through my windows, and even a live bullet posted through my front door.
There's never been a campaign like this I've had against myself. For 15 months, a non-stop hate campaign. Despite that, I'm confident we are going to win.
It was like living through a low-level civil war.
Now it will be the turn of the defeated Peter Tatchell.
Tatchell's campaign ends in failure. Nearly half the Labour voters desert him.
I'd also like to thank the police for their protection following the threats against me over the last few weeks.
What would you do if you found out your sister was lesbian?
Kill her.
I think they're a disgrace.
Why is that?
Because there's no need for it.
Why not?
Because there isn't. There's plenty of women running around. I don't know what you're going to do. Touch me up because you're a lesbian, eh?
Out on the streets, attacks on black, Asian and gay people are surging. At the same time, Culture Club topped the charts with their first #1 single.
Do you
charisma.
Charisma?
Yes, white charisma. Knock on my door. I thought, who could it be, I thought? Is it the postman? Pop it in, Pete.
Britain's TV industry is stuck in the past. In 1982, a newcomer promises change.
It was time for a bit of British aggravation. Channel 4 was partly set up with that intent, which was to irritate, annoy, and to antagonise what was then still called, I think, the establishment.
The programmes are pretty awful. This thing of minority interest, what a wonderful British air of masturbatory fantasy that produces in one's mind.
The spirit of the new channel is embodied in a different kind of music show, The Tube, giving a platform to the talents of Britain's exploding music scene.
It was so anarchic. It was exciting. There was nothing like it.
The show's cameras go to Liverpool to film unknown and unsigned Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
The words of relax just floated into my head as I was walking from my mum's to rehearsals. But the whole melody and lyrics came at the same time, and it was a sort of mantra that I used to get myself to walk quicker. Relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. Relax, don't do it when you want to come. That was it, really.
I first saw the Frankies on the Tube on a Friday evening. And I thought, that's interesting, that record's interesting because of that woof, woof, woof beat. I thought, this is really good. I could do something with this.
No one was dressing like that in the mainstream. There were people dressing like that in alternative subcultures of leather bars. It was a kind of post-punk, sexualized look, really.
Relax, don't do it.
It had to be something more visual, more lock up your daughters and your sons.
Good stuff. Well, the first question that's burning in my mind, please don't point that at me, loaded guns. The first question that's burning in my mind is there a record available of what we've just heard?
No, there isn't, but there will be soon, we hope.
Have you got a record deal yet?
No, and this is why we're doing this.
No record label at all was interested. For all sorts of reasons. I think the sexuality of it was disturbing to certain record companies. I just loved the idea of something that was dangerous and threatening. You really wanted to scare parents.
Feeling at ZTT is very much that of a small and committed family enjoying their early impact on the music industry.
In a way, we didn't do what a lot of record companies instinctively would have done, which was to compromise and smother the energies of a group like Frankie Goes to Hollywood. What I wanted to do and was determined to do was amplify those energies.
Relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. Relax, don't do it when you want to come. Relax.
Trevor Horn had created a record that was technologically the equivalent, if not superior, to a Michael Jackson record, with this bunch of kids from Liverpool that a few months earlier had been, holding out a begging bowl on the Tube.
I was nervous by the time I'd finished it. I thought it's a bit overtly sexual. I thought that might be a problem.
Instead of holding back, Paul Morley commissions a video that will push the boundaries even further.
The first video we did for Relax was set, for me, in the world that I imagine Frankie Goes to Hollywood had come from. A great club, a party going on that everyone wants to go to. It's what you always want pop music to give to you, the opening up of doors into fantastic new worlds.
It's a great video with various characters that we knew from gay clubs. the amazing Angela Farley with a long blonde wig, and Juicy Lucy, the amazing drag queen. It sparked people's imagination. People were convinced that there was a Roman-type overlord pissing on me and Paul from the balcony. You're made to think that through the editing process. Unfortunately, it got banned. Ho, ho, ho.
The ban helps propel Relax and Frankie to #1, and it goes on to become the UK's 6th biggest selling single of all time.
The idea that you could smuggle through so much unwelcome to the establishment energy through a pop song. A lot of people aren't going to like this, we don't care. But a lot of people will like it, and a lot of people need this. Outsiders need this. The attempt to put all forms of otherness into the margins where it can be either safely ignored or easily controlled, you know, that can change.
1,500 fans were waiting for the group, and Boy George was virtually swamped by the screaming kids, all jostling to get a glimpse of the star.
I love him. I love him.
The British underground scene scores another breakthrough when Boy George lands in North America with Culture Club and causes an uproar.
Everything that happens good that happens in England, which is why we're here, I suppose. You know, we're taking a bit of that to America.
Boy George's sexuality and ambiguous look divides America.
Strange.
Disgusting. He's different. I like him.
I mean, I keep reading that I'm creating a nation of perverts. I didn't see one pervert at the airport, and I haven't seen one pervert at the hotel. I'm looking for all these perverts that I've created.
Boy George is accused by the American media of starting a moral panic.
Generally, I think if there's a moral panic going on, it's because something good is happening.
My husband doesn't like it, but it makes me happy, so I do it anyway.
My attitude was go there, give them some culture, you know, bring them some English... bring them some real English eccentricity, because, I mean, let's face it, England, our culture is based on eccentricity, you know.
Boy George becomes such a popular figure in the 80s that he is given a role on one of America's most watched TV shows, The A-Team.
For some reason, they don't think that Boy George here can draw the country western audience. That's why they're trying to kill me.
The Crack Commando unit are determined to help the singer play a gig in the conservative South.
Well, that's great, you guys, but I came here to sing.
Well, you'll sing. You'll be the opening act for me.
In Britain, Channel 4 appoints Farouk Dondi, a former Black Panther turned playwright, as commissioning editor for multicultural programs.
I wanted Black and Asian personnel to be in charge of and profit from the budgets that made programs.
Black broadcasting needs its separate space. Blacks have been totally unrepresented, and something very special should be made of them in these first few years, at least.
One of his first commissions is The Bandung File, a documentary and current affairs program made by Black and Asian producers.
One of the issues in the Black community was absolutely against police brutality.
Members of the local community are demanding an explanation of how Trevor Monaville sustained such appalling physical injuries.
Trevor was lying on the floor on the mattress, his whole body covered in bruises.
Issues like this be blown up totally out of all proportion and cause tension in the local community.
But you're saying that we're arousing tension. How could we be arousing tension with his brains off kicked out? My God.
Channel 4 wanted to fulfill its remit. Parliament said, do things that other channels don't do. All the voices that are crying out to be heard, put on television.
With black music struggling to find a place in the industry, Jazzy B takes the sound system out of the house party and into the centre of the city.
The idea of what I did with our sound system is to make it inclusive as opposed to exclusive. My idea of the people coming in, as well as celebrating what we were doing, they're also part of what we were doing. The idea of us making our own music felt more appealing to us than us copying.
The music industry pretty much ignored black British music.
Yeah.
Like, just flat out ignored it.
Will, I'm me, man.
Operating outside of the mainstream, Soul to Soul draw on the advertising trends of the 80s to build a brand.
By that point now, we'd come up with the visuals of the Funky Dread. And the idea of a logo or even a brand was new to us. We came out with the T-shirts, and from there, it just sparked this whole new situation where, you know, we were able to monetize.
The Funky Dread was like a sort of new identity. Kids suddenly felt able to express themselves sartorially in any which way they pleased, and that was new for black kids.
Okay.
Soul to Soul's residency at the Africa Centre in Covent Garden is a symbol of their progress into the heart of the capital.
The Africa Centre, in a way, was pivotal.
It was smack bang right in the middle of the West End. And there were loads of black kids used to go to it. Loads of black kids didn't go to lots of the other clubs that we went to.
It's our time. Stay.
The foothold Soul to Soul established in central London doesn't last.
The centre was under so much pressure from the authorities and the police to close us down. Rather than it being taken away from them, and we moved on. A song was born out of us losing the Africa Centre, which was called Keep On Moving.
A lot of the films around that time was about nostalgia, which were basically about white people leading very, very beautiful, privileged lives. The one that just came out was Passage to India, David Lean's film, with Alec Guinness playing an Indian holy man wearing brown makeup.
I cannot say I was not there. No.
He looks as if he's been dumped in a turd. He looks rather stained.
Channel 4 commissions Hanif Kureishi to write his first film. It blends the immigrant experience with a gay love story set against the backdrop of Thatcher's Britain. My Beautiful Laundrette.
I had an uncle, and he had laundrettes, and he also had flats, and all the business stuff that's in the film really came from him.
Nothing but a toilet and a youth club. A constant boil.
And my dad would send me out around these laundrettes with my uncle because my dad was despairing about my future.
I'll charge you basic rent. Above that, you keep.
And then when I got the job from Channel 4, I thought I can write a story about a bloke who runs a laundrette because I know all about laundrettes now. And I began to think about these two mates who set up this Thatcherite business together, Johnny and Omar.
I'm dead impressed by all this. You were the one at school, the one they liked. All the packies like me. I've been through...
Johnny is a slightly disillusioned National Front supporter. When he meets Omar, he possibly sees a way out.
I need to raise money to make this place good. And I want you to help me with that.
And one of my oldest mates, he'd become a skinhead. So that kind of material fed my Beautiful Laundrette. I decided they should fall in love. It would make the story stronger.
This could be a Ritz among laundrettes. A laundrette as big as the Ritz. Oh, yes.
You didn't really see guys kissing in the cinema. There was not much gay joy around before that, actually. So it's quite a celebration of gayness, which is why I think it became a hit.
You're getting into some family business, that's all.
What the hell else is there left for you in this country now?
Send him to the garage and call Tanya. Ask her to bring some champagne. We'll drink to Thatcher and your beautiful laundrette.
Do they go together?
Like dal and chapatis. To us.
At that time, Thatcher was pushing for people to become entrepreneurs, to borrow lots of money and to become very rich.
We Conservatives believe in popular capitalism. Now the great Tory reform of this century is to enable more and more people to own property.
Filthy imperialist swine! Exploiting dog! Enemy of the third world! You and your kind, your days are numbered!
His uncle, played by, say, Geoffrey, is a total and utter Thatcherite.
What would your enemies have to say about this, eh? Ain't exactly integration, is it?
I'm a professional businessman, not a professional Pakistani. And there is no question of race in the new enterprise culture.
My uncle, who was a Thatcherite, didn't see himself as a Pakistani.
Forward your mail!
He saw himself as part of this new tribe of businessmen who were gonna have a go in Britain.
But where are those two buggers?
It had the dimension of being a gay love story, and it had the dimension of exposing the real life of an Asian family.
The film is a global success and picks up 2 BAFTAs and an Oscar nomination.
My Beautiful Laundrette is so modern and so contemporary. And you suddenly realise that Britain is changed. And there's nothing you can do about that now, however much you rail against black and Asian people being here. We're part of the fabric.
The changing culture provokes a backlash.
Children who need to be able to count and multiply are learning anti-racist mathematics, whatever that may be. Children who need to be taught to respect traditional moral values are being taught that they have an inalienable right to be gay. All of those children are being cheated of a sound start in life. Yes, cheated.
She always hits the nail on the head. She has that talent.
Well, it's tremendous. She's the greatest lady the world's ever seen, isn't she?
It was a real attack on alternative lifestyles. It's as though Thatcher had created this monster of enterprise, of individuality, and then they wanted to row back. I mean, if you create individualism, you also create feminism. You also create black rights. You know, you also create gay rights. So we were living, as it were, within her contradictions.
Nana Cherry breaks through with her solo album, Raw Like Sushi, and her chart-topping hit, Buffalo Stance.
The intention was to make a good record, and the intention was to, I guess, harness the different things that were of me. I'm a bit of a singer. I love hip-hop, so I mean, the rap thing became a way of expressing myself.
Nana embarks on a promotional tour, pregnant with her second child.
Is it safe for you to sort of go up on stage performing in that condition?
Yes, of course. It's not an illness.
Buffalo Stance is a hit in the US. Nana Cherry is propelled from the underground to global stardom. But for a young mother, navigating the music industry on her own terms is a challenge.
Nana made Raw Like Sushi, and suddenly she was propelled into the heart, into the belly of the beast. And she would be gone for whole streaks of time touring it. She'd come back and I'd be like, hi, babe, and she'd be like, oh, yeah.
Nana reunites with Andy Oliver for Man-Child.
From Monday down to Friday, you're working on another man's car. Or is it in the factory?
I do feel like, don't let them change you. My dad used to say that to me. And, like, own it and be yourself and all those kind of things. I think that we had an incredible determination to go in there and kind of shake things up and to do things our way.
But for all the creative energy of the moment, a new pandemic threatens to change everything.
I remember gay friends of mine talking about AIDS and what you could and couldn't do sexually. Those were really dark days.
When I became ill, I expected to die within 2 months or 2 years, I was told. I managed to survive. It was a very scary time because people were losing friends. Juicy Lucy from the Relax video in the beautiful red lipstick died, and lots of our friends died.
Under my skin.
We made the song Under My Skin, which was part of Red Hot and Blue, which was like one of the first AIDS awareness projects.
I had a friend once by the name of Mary Jane.
It's about allyship. We stood by our brothers and sisters because that's what you do. You stand by your brothers and sisters.
That's who we are. We needed to make something beautiful, to release pain and sorrow, and to also, like, hopefully put something out into the world. A little bit dark, melancholy, but also beautiful way, speaking about HIV and AIDS.
Just to let her know I got you under my skin. Yes, I do. I got you under my skin.
Desmond Ambrose. 57 boy, and still handsome.
The black community recognised a lot of characters in Desmond's without it being comedic, right? And the stories I was telling reflected their own journeys. White people had no idea who we were. All they saw, we were muggers, rapists, and thieves, right? In the popular press.
Matthew, how many times do I have to tell you I don't want that paper in my shop?
Desmond, we are doing a study
on what? Page 3? Or how many times they blame black people for so many things?
It's that migrant story. You came to help the motherlands, and then he opened a barber shop.
But I wanted that.
A tennis racket? I tell you what, next time I'll put in 2 wavy lines and we can call it a tennis ball, all right?
When Desmond's came on, Desmond's was like, holy shit, there we are. Oh, my word.
I can safely say your mother and I are through our learning days.
It looked like a black English family looked like.
I decided to take French lessons.
What?
Oh, great, Mum.
What do you want to learn French for?
Well, you always on about the children's education, so I thought, why not?
But that's different. They're young, they have to go to school, and it's free.
There were not very many depictions of what black British life looked like. We just weren't on TV.
Look, all those in favour of Mum learning French say yes. We...
For the first time, a situation comedy in Channel 4 hit the 5 to 6 million mark. It became tremendously popular.
I just want to rest, build a house and me plot of land back home and retire.
Desmond had the thing of, we're coming to England, you know, it's paved with gold. And once they had that sort of money, they would go.
Stop dreaming, Desmond. This is England 1989. And we no nearer building a house back in the Guyana now than we were in 1969.
Shirley is a realist. She has a husband who has always said, we're going back. And she's gone along with that. But as time has gone on, she's realising that ultimately, that ain't gonna happen.
I'm gonna build that house if it's the last thing I do, even if I don't live there. It would be for the children, so they could know the country of origin, the culture, its roots, so that when one day if Thatcher decide to throw us out, we have somewhere to go to, and that goes for you too, Linford Christie.
Her standpoint is this. Her kids are here. Future grandchildren will be here. Why is she going back?
Back to life, back to reality, back to life.
The children of the first generation of immigrants are now grown up and have their own plans. Soul to Soul have hits with Keep On Moving and Back to Life, showing the musical possibilities of a new Britain.
We was a collective organisation that was a true reflection of what was happening, particularly in the UK. Optimism about what the music resonated, permeated all these themes and appealed to the rest of the world.
You couldn't move anywhere in Europe, America, here. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing Soul to Soul.
In America, Public Enemy are redefining music, raging against the system with their political hip-hop, and offer their support to Soul's inclusive outlook.
Chuck D and Public Enemy were huge at the time, and I guess in terms of us being embraced, they'd never seen anything like us before. Soul to Soul is not angry. We're never angry. We're a happy face, a thumping bass, because we believe in a loving race. There were parts of America that I was going to who never heard or seen a black English person. So I was like Christopher Columbus.
So there it is.
In 1990, Soul to Soul win 2 Grammys and 3 Soul Train Awards in the US. And here, they're nominated for 4 Brits.
You know you gotta get alive.
The thing about Soul to Soul was just this beautiful distillation of everything that we were, all in one band, in one place. It was just magnificent.
The energy that was in, like, the dances, was so powerful. I could feel sometimes that I was, like, hearing the sound of victory.
In spite of the nominations, Soul to Soul failed to win anything.
For Keep On Moving to not be the single of the decade, let alone the single of the year, was just a travesty.
So when Nana Cherry picks up 2 awards, she does her best to put things right.
What I'm gonna do when I get backstage is I'm gonna chisel a bit off for each and every one so you can all wear a medallion later, right?
What I did was basically smash up one of the Brits.
Thank you.
So we made a piece of jewelry, and the main bit was Jazzy's.
This was an artist who took it upon herself to rectify what she felt was an injustice or an incredible fucking joke. Music would not be the same without all the spectrum of the rainbow. So whether you're gay, straight, black, white, or whatever you want to be, all of those things play an important role.
Nana Cherry offers support to another sound system, this time from Bristol. They and others will power the 90s with a new sound, Massive Attack. From the underground to the mainstream, the essence of British culture has changed forever.
Having Massive Attack come into my house and listen to them starting to make their record, Blue Lines, was like the best medicine I've ever been given.
At the time, it was like, you don't matter. And we were like, we beg to differ.
Britain is a very creative place. Art comes out of conflict, it comes out of argument, it comes out of difficulty. And I think for me, that's what it's like to be British, which is to be argumentative.
I managed to survive. I'm very lucky and feel that I have to live this life for the friends that I lost, because I lost many.
The 80s, for me, the change really was this idea of a melting pot. With Soul to Soul, we made it our life. And from us living it, other people wanted to live it. And I guess, as they say, the rest is history, because it was truly embraced by the rest of the world.